Good evening. Daily dose of growth. This one we're going to focus on your mental health. So, a lot of times, this has to do a little with financial and spiritual health as well, but it's kind of a focus on core values. So, this is a story or series of stories about on our show, Millionaires R Made. If you have not seen it, you are missing out. Every week, we bring like smartest people in the world and have them tell you all their secrets. It's really cool. But core values is one of the basic things. Anytime I start a new client, or a lot of times when things are tough with me, I go and review them. And it's how you help your mental health. Who are you? How do you set up your boundaries? What's your mission in life? All that kind of stuff builds around your core values. Let's just take it like a house. It's basically the foundation of your house. Hard to build a house without a foundation. So it's a foundation for your life. And man, it makes life so much better when you have your core values and you can use them to determine which relationships you should have or not have. Makes work better, makes life better, makes romance better. Knowing that you have core values that are shared and that you both feel the same way about certain things can make life move a lot smoother and faster. So one of our core values for Millionaires R Made is the show must go on. And as cliche as it sounds, it might be a little more difficult than you think. We try to make our show as simple as possible. All right, we have a software that you click a link and it pops up and it's all on the web, so it's just a browser tab. You don't have to download anything for our guests. To watch our show, we put it on like 8 different social medias so you can watch it easy. And then for me and my team, we try to make it as easy as possible as well. I usually just have my laptop right here with this view of my house. Or if I'm traveling, I've done this show, we'll get into that, but I made it on purpose so that when I travel or other people travel, you can do it on your phone. The software that we found is all web-based, so we can do it on phones, iPads, anything that connects to the internet to make it easy for everyone. For our team, all of our members can all log in wherever they are in their lives. If they're late or they're stuck in traffic or something, they can still pop on and watch and do what they need to do. So the show must go on, and a lot of what we do when we build is to try to make it as simple as possible so the show can go on. We have backups, we have systems. I'm on a remote island, and our power plant goes out every day pretty much. So we have solar, we have battery backups, all sorts of stuff to make sure the show goes on. We have had a lot of hiccups. So there's been probably, if you watch the show a lot, we do have a co-host, a guest host, I guess. One of my good friends, Josh Perry, was one of the first guests to sign up on the show. He's been on many episodes, does a great job, very personable, great on air, and has covered my ass. So there's definitely one time, it specifically early on, this might be like episode 10, maybe episode 20, very early on. We're currently at like episode 160. So this is like 140 episodes ago. And what happened? Started the show 10 minutes in. Shows last half an hour. 10 minutes into the show, the cable company or internet company is upgrading. So they start cutting it and they like send out a text and like, hey, your internet will be out for the next hour. And I like get the text and whoosh, there goes the show. So I'm sitting there trying to contact my team with my cell and try to log back in, but it's not working because I'm trying to get off Wi-Fi onto cell's not strong. So I have to run it in the middle of the show. Like my guests are just talking. I don't even know what they're doing. They're trying to keep the show going. And I had to run to Starbucks. So now I pop back on right in the middle of someone talking, and I'm just sitting. I'm not even in the Starbucks because I just didn't want noise or whatever. So I'm sitting on the sidewalk, the curb at a drive-through Starbucks on there with the background. It's just like a cement wall, like a utility box. And I finished the show. And so that is part of our thing. I've done the show at an airport gate. So the flight got delayed. Plan was I land to wherever I am, house, hotel, or whatever, and I pop on and do the show. Flight got delayed, so as soon as we landed, I think the show was like 5 minutes later, so I just went to an empty gate at the airport, and I'm like sitting where you check people in, and all like at a gate, the computers are there and everything. They're all turned off, obviously. Set up my laptop and start the show, just standing up, and behind me is like Cape Air or something like that. During the show, a freaking flight comes in. So now we've got people walking in, and they're sitting there like, "What the hell is this guy doing in the gate?" And I'm like, "Who are you? What is? If I wanted to improve my health, what do I do here?" And they're also there like, "What the fuck is going on?" So then they walk off, and then there's a flight. So now, by the end of the show, I'm in a terminal, gate C10 or something, and there's probably 50 to 60 people out there all just watching me, and I'm in the middle of the show, so I can't like stop and like go somewhere else. And I'm like there, and I already had exited security, so I was on like the regional flights. In our airport, we have like a one tiny gate that you don't check anything to go to. It's just to fly over to the other islands, so there's no security. So I'm in there, and I'm just doing the show while there's like 60 people in the audience watching me, going, "What the hell is that guy doing?" Standing where the airport employees usually stand to check tickets. And I did my show there. There's been a time where it's rained here. Sometimes when it rains, all the internet, cell towers, everything go out. So we do have backups. I have Starlink is my primary. I've got Hotspot, I've got Cell, and then we have Via as well. So, but one time they all went out, and at some point I couldn't figure it out. Computer internet wasn't working. It was like 5 minutes past showtime, and I was able to and I couldn't even call. So my team just called Josh. They're like, "Josh, are you able to hop on right now?" And he hopped on and did the show for me. A huge shout out. Thank you so much, Josh. That was crazy. I did this show even when we had turned out to be a hurricane. While it was here, it was a tropical storm, like size 3 or whatever. It was one step below a hurricane. Became a hurricane right after our island. Hurricane Ernesto, I believe it was, like last May or June. I was live streaming too, the hurricane of the harbor. It was crazy to watch. So that came through, and the next day we had internet, and I did the show. I think I did it inside because outside there was stuff everywhere. My first ever hurricane/tropical storm was pretty crazy. I was by myself, just like listening, and I felt secure and safe for the most part. And then the next morning it died down around like 9 or 10 a.m. and showtime. And then the most common one, before a show starts, we all meet in the back room, like backstage, like a half an hour before, because virtually every episode there's somebody that doesn't have a mic, doesn't know how to hit mute or unmute, somebody that doesn't have Wi-Fi and they're choppy. There's always a problem. But with this core value, man, my team kills it. At this point, we have backup guests that are like almost always on edge. I think we've had maybe out of 160 episodes, I think less than 5 we've gone on with just 2 guests. So, and almost every one, a guest has problems. So that's how good we're getting at solving the problem to make sure the show must go on. And there's been probably less than 10 times where we couldn't fix a guest, and they had such bad internet, or they were technically unsound or something, didn't realize it was a live show and thought that cell service was going to work. You really have to have pretty decent Wi-Fi to do a live show. And then we have like a list of guests that we could be like, "Oh, can you help out right now real quick? Here's the topic, please help us out." And then we get a third guest. That's happened less than like 15 shows. So like less than 10% of our shows we've had not been able to figure it out, but we have backups ready. And we pretty much get 3 guests for every show, because the show must go on.